यूपीएससी प्रेपलैब, आपकी तैयारी हमारी जिम्मेदारी।
Hello students, do you possess the same identity of a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe if you are changing your religion from Hinduism to Islam or to Christianity? This is the question that majority of the people have in the country, not today, not from the last few years, ever since we got this independence, since the time of 1950. So in order to clear this question, the Supreme Court of India recently has given a judgment uh, in the month of March. So we'll be discussing about this topic. So welcome to the weekly topic or the topic of the week at our UPSC Preplab. This is Dhanunjaya Reddy bringing you the topic of the week, whether when you change your faith, you're going to have the status that was ascribed to you as a Dalit or SC in your Hinduism is going to carry forward or not. This is the thing that Supreme Court of India has said. So let's start discussing that. So question is rights versus faith. So we can consider this as a rights versus faith. The reason being rights are something which is given by the constitution. For example, if we look at Article 14, Article 15, Article 17 of Indian Constitution, which prescribes equality before law, prohibition of discrimination, abolition of untouchability, and special protections provisions which are given for the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in the Indian Constitution. So this is about the rights. On the other hand, you have faith. Faith is something which is related to the so-called religion of a person. The right to profess, practice, and propagate one's own religion is again a fundamental right. So now, whether the provisions that was given for certain communities, such as the so-called backwards classes, will extend when they are converting their religion from the so-called Hinduism to the so-called Christianity or Islam or other religions. This was a question that has been asked in the country. To clarify this, the Supreme Court of India has given the status, ST status after religious conversion. This is the main point that has been in debate ever since India has got independence. Now, Supreme Court recently pointed out that whether after you convert your religion from the so-called Hinduism, are you going to possess the same SC benefits or not and ST benefits or not? This was cleared by our top court of India recently. So whether you possess it or not, this is very, very important to know for our preparation. So where to start with? Let us start with the first thing. What is the case is all about? Let's start with what this case is all about. The Supreme Court of India on March 9, 2026, judgment in the so-called Mr. Chintanand versus State of Andhra Pradesh has said that the intersections of identity, law, and social justice, how that is going to be present, and what will be the output as far as this intersection is happening, has been given by the court. Let's have a look at what the court said. The first question is, what is the case all about? The case is the identity paradox. The identity paradox. What has happened exactly? Let's have a look. There was a scheduled caste person in the state of Andhra Pradesh. He has converted to Christianity. He has converted to Christianity. After converting here, he has become a pastor of a church. Now, when he was having one issue with a local man, he was abused, and this person went to the uh, police station and he said that I am a scheduled caste person. SC/ST atrocities act will apply to me. So please book the person who has abused me under SC/ST Act. This was the thing which has started. So this person approached the High Court of Andhra Pradesh saying that when you have converted your religion, how can you still claim that you are a Dalit? So this person went to the court saying that when this person has converted into Christianity, how can you apply SC/ST Act? Because scheduled caste is something, or a Dalit, which was earlier called it as Dalit, is something which is related to Hinduism, how can, when you have converted into the so-called Christianity, these provisions will apply. And this was the tussle. This was the tussle. Now, the High Court of Andhra Pradesh has stated that yes, whatever the argument that was given by this person is correct. You cannot come under SC/ST's Atrocities Act because when you have converted your religion or faith, the provisions which are given for the Dalits cannot be applied. So, this pastor went to the Supreme Court and he has challenged the same thing. However, Supreme Court reiterated what High Court of India has said, High Court of Andhra Pradesh has said, saying that High Court judgment is correct. When you change your faith, the status that was ascribed to you in Hinduism will not be present even in Christianity. This is what you have. And the core point of debate is whether this Supreme Court judgment is the correct one. What are the pros with this judgment? What are the cons of this judgment? How exactly we can weight this judgment by the end. So this is the thing that we have. So a man born into Madiga community or scheduled caste in Andhra Pradesh, converted to Christianity and served as a pastor. When he has faced an assault, he tried to use SC/ST's Atrocities Act. He went to the court and court said that the big question is, can you keep your caste identity if you change your religious identity? This was the question. Now, what is the Supreme Court's answer? The Supreme Court clearly said that if you look at 1950 constitutional order, there is one 1950 rule, Constitution Scheduled Caste Order. Now, what this order says is any person belonging to Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, these people can have the SC/ST status, particularly SC status can be given to these people because this is scheduled caste one. So they can be giving this to them, but not to other religions. So going by this order, I cannot extend the same benefit to a converted Christian, or if you are converted to Islam, you cannot have the same scheduled caste. So Constitutional Scheduled Caste Order 1950 prescribes who comes under scheduled caste, and they have mentioned in which state who are the scheduled caste people. Now it said that you should belong only to the so-called Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism in order to claim as SC. But now this is the thing that has happened, and Supreme Court went with this constitutional order of 1950 and strictly said that it is tied with the religion. So only these religious people are having this absolute right to claim scheduled caste status. Who can profess? Hindus, Sikhs and Buddhists. This is what the thing is. Now, if you convert to Christianity or Islam, you are going to lose it immediately. You are going to lose it immediately. This is what the doctrine says. The next question is, so scheduled caste people are not going to get the same reservations which they have been enjoying if they are under the Hinduism, if they convert to Christianity or the so-called Muslims. But is it applied the same thing for scheduled tribes? Can you apply the same principle saying it to the scheduled tribes? Now the court has said that scheduled castes are different, scheduled tribes are different. Scheduled caste, Dalit, is a term which is exclusively to the Hinduism, which was later extended to Sikhism and Buddhism. However, scheduled tribes is not based on the faith, rather it is an identity of the person. It is an identity of those persons who were wandering in the forest. So what they said is scheduled caste is different, scheduled tribes is different. So if a scheduled tribe person is converting, his religion, the principles will still apply to him. So what does this mean? So an SC is different from an ST. So if you are converting from SC, that is Hinduism, to Christianity or Islam, you will lose all the statutory reservations that you have as far as SC is considered, you lose it. But if an ST is converting into the so-called Christianity or Islam, he can still possess the ST status. This is what Supreme Court's verdict is. Now, why? Why ST can have the same provisions of an ST after converting from Hinduism to Christianity or Islam? This rule is simple because ST is something which is related to not religion, which is your SC based, is an identity based. So not to automatically they lose after the conversion. So even if you are converting, ST status remains. Supreme Court clearly clarified it. So you should know that SC is different from ST in this context. Next, what if A person who is converted into Christianity wants to come back to Hinduism. Whether the SC status that has been lost due to this conversion is going to be giving back to him or not. If you are coming to your Garvapasi, that is, if you are coming back to your religion of Hinduism from the so-called other religions like Christianity or Islam, if you reconvert back, now court said that you will be getting your SC status by fulfilling these three conditions. You have to fulfill these three conditions. First one is you have to produce a proof of origin, whether you are really belonging to the notified scheduled caste. You should possess a identity or origin, proof of origin. And there should be a genuine change. You have to truly go and prove to the court or the officials that you have renounced the Christianity or Islam and you have converted back. Community has to accept it. The most important part is the original caste community must officially accept them back on their own. So this is what the pricking point in the Supreme Court's order is. When you are saying that, how can I prove that I have converted my faith back from Christianity to Hinduism? Because faith is something which is deeply present within myself. How can I prove to the officials that I am following or now I have become again a Hindu Bhakt from the so-called the priest of from the so-called a Christian or Islam, how I have converted back? How are you going to prove it? This is the biggest challenge that the people are criticizing this law about. So the Garvapasi rule is you can get it back if you provide these three things. Next thing that they are saying is what are the pros and cons of this judgment? The pros are from the last point of view, Supreme Court has upheld the law. What the law says, there is a rule, Constitution Scheduled Caste Order of 1950, which clearly says that if you have converted to SC, you have to belong only to these three religions. As a result, there is a consistency in the law that Supreme Court has followed. So you can say that Supreme Court has upheld the law. And fairness to others. Now, majority of the people, they are converting their faith. As a result, some people who are still present as SCs in Hindus, they are claiming that due to these people, they are converting and they are claiming their reservations. So according to the law, Hinduism is the only one which has this SC, or Sikhism or Buddhism. In Christianity and Islam, you do not have such differences. Hence, you should remove it. So this is the fairness that some people who are present in the Hinduism and who are still belonging to SC community are asking it. So what are the counterpoints? The social reality is just by removing, converting of my religion from Hinduism to Christianity, a Dalit who converts from Hinduism to Christianity, whether the social stigma which is present in this person is going to wipe out completely or not. If it is not going to wipe out, Supreme Court should not have said this statement because still atrocities will be present even though if he has converted into Christian, because the society will see him not as a Christian, society will label him saying that you are a Dalit Christian. So society will tell it because in Christianity you do not have Dalit Christian. You in Christianity you have a Girijan Christian. Christian is one, but in the society they will say that you are a Dalit Christian, and still the differences will exist. So social stigma is not going to wash away if I just change my faith. This is one problem that it has. So persistent bias is present against untouchability. So unless and until the minds of the people are changed, you cannot have the same thing. And inequalities. If a Dalit who has converted to Christianity is facing some atrocities, he cannot use SC/ST provisions further to go and get that protection. Hence, this is going to make these people quite vulnerable. Just on the basis of faith, you have been converting them and you have been saying that this will be not applied. So, this is one thing. So, what is Ambedkar's point? Before coming to Ambedkar's point, now I have said what is the judgment, what is the Supreme Court's ruling, these things. So, let us analyze how far Supreme Court is correct and exactly whether this is going to create practical solutions to the conversion programs. If you look at this, ladies and gentlemen, on one side, if I convert my faith from Hinduism to other religion, and if I am a Dalit in Hinduism, the social orchestration that I have been facing will not just wipe away just by conversion of my religion. Religion is something which is related to my faith, which is related to my faith. Article 25 of Indian Constitution clearly says that everyone has the right to profess, practice and propagate religion of their own choice. Now, Supreme Court is not stopping you from conversion. That is completely good because it is fulfilling Article 25. I can convert. But the question is, when you are removing me from the SC status by just saying that Christianity doesn't have this SC, by just wiping it out, whether the social stigma that is present in the country, in the people, it is going to get washed away. That is the thing. For example, recently there was an IPS officer who has resigned to his post and who has joined into politics from Telangana, Mr. Praveen Kumar. This man has said, when he has approached a church, there he has found majority of the Hindus converted into Christians, but within this converted Christians also, majority of them belong to the so-called upper caste Hindus compared to the so-called lower caste Hindus. Lower caste Hindus in the so-called churches were treated separately by the upper caste Hindus who were converted, which means these Hindus who have converted from their Hinduism to the so-called Christianity, rather than treating everyone equal, they are showing this social stigma even after converting the religion. So this is a clear indication in practice in society, caste discrimination is present or Dalits are still facing the problem, then how it is going to create an impact? Just by converting the religion, I may lose this SC/ST's protections. This is the first problem that it arises. The second problem is how you are going to prove that I am following this faith. How an MRO or the other person who is giving my caste certificate, how he is going to come to know that whether I am following Hindu God, Christian God, or the so-called Islamic faith? How you are going to come to know? Whether they are going to come to my house and check which gods are present on the wall, whether they are going to keep some persons near the church to watch whether this fellow is coming regularly to the church or not, how it is going to be implemented. This is the point of the contention. Supreme Court's judgment is true according to the so-called constitutional rule of 1950, but in reality, whether this is going to play any substantial role, particularly as far as STs are considered, the critics say absolutely not. There was a famous statement Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the person who has resisted to convert into Christianity, he was fed up with Hinduism, he has converted into the so-called Buddhism, but he did not accept Christianity because he said that Christianity itself has more evils than the so-called Hinduism. But what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, caste is not a physical object like a brick of wall, like a wall of bricks. So, caste is not a physical object like a wall of bricks. I cannot just say that by eliminating this, it is free. Caste is the state of the mind. Everyone knows their caste. Everyone knows their caste. It is a disease of the mind. In his annihilation of the caste, he says this. So just by converting from one religion to other religion, if you are saying that all the discrimination that is going to be existing on a scheduled caste person is going to vaporize within seconds, definitely if the Supreme Court is considering that this is the thing, millions of people will convert. Because in India, still we are finding the lower caste people getting discriminated, and that is the reason Supreme Court and the so-called parliaments of over time, they have created some protections. So this is something that the Supreme Court should have considered before giving this judgment. So this is our stand. So you can take your stand. Please comment where you stand so that we'll be coming to know. We wish you all the very best. This is topic of the day. Good luck. Take care.